In the heart of a beautiful African village, nestled between towering mountains and dense forests, life flowed quietly and peacefully. The village was a place where everyone knew each other's name, and tradition held a strong grip on the community. People farmed, children played in the dusty streets, and elders met daily to discuss matters of the village. It was a world where the past shaped the present, and customs guided the future. But even in this serene village, love has a way of defying boundaries. Kwame, a hard-working young man, was the son of humble farmers. Raised on the values of loyalty, honor, and duty, he had no intention of ever breaking the village's strict traditions. His life was simple. He worked the fields, helped his parents, and kept to the rhythms of the village. But fate had a different plan in store for him. Amina, the daughter of the village chief, was a young woman of beauty, intelligence, and grace. As the chief's daughter, she was expected to marry a man who could uphold the legacy of the chief's family and carry the village's traditions into the future. Her life was also governed by tradition, but deep down, Amina longed for something more. She wanted freedom and a life beyond the roles set out for her. It was one quiet afternoon in the village square when their eyes first met. Kwame was helping his father with a cart, and Amina was passing by with her friends. In that fleeting moment, something passed between them. A look, a spark. It was a connection neither could deny, yet both knew it could never be. As days turned into weeks, their paths crossed more often. And though they both knew their love was forbidden, it couldn't be ignored. They began to secretly meet in the village woods, far from prying eyes. There, in the shade of ancient trees, they spoke of their hopes, their dreams, and the worlds they wished they could create together. The village, with all its traditions and customs, seemed so distant in those moments, but secrets rarely stay hidden for long. One day, Amina's closest friend, Zara, stumbled upon them in the woods. She watched them from behind a tree, unable to comprehend what she was seeing. Amina, the daughter of the chief, with Kwame, the son of farmers. It was an impossible pairing. And yet, there they were, laughing together, hands brushing in the quiet of the forest. Unable to hold it in, Zara spread word of the forbidden love, and soon the whole village knew. The whispers grew louder, the gossip spreading faster than a wildfire. The elders gathered, their faces grim, their judgment harsh. They knew that a love like this could tear the fabric of their society apart. The chief, Amina's father, was furious. He called his daughter before him, demanding she end things with Kwame immediately. The tradition of the village, the very essence of their society, could not be challenged. This was an affront to everything the village stood for. But Amina stood her ground. She refused to let go of the man she loved. Kwame too spoke up, defending their love. It was a love born of respect and shared dreams, not of rebellion, but of two souls finding one another in a world where they were told they didn't belong together. The tension in the village reached a boiling point. The elders argued fiercely. The villagers were divided. Some sided with the chief, believing tradition must be upheld. Others saw the truth in Amina and Kwame's love, and began to question whether the village's rigid customs needed to be challenged. And then, something unexpected happened. Amina's mother, a quiet and wise woman, stood before the council of elders. She spoke not of tradition, but of love. She revealed to the village that, in her youth, she too had loved someone who was not of her status, someone whose love was also deemed forbidden. She had fought for that love, and in the end, it had made her stronger, more compassionate, and more understanding of others. Her words struck a chord with the villagers, and for the first time, they began to see that love could transcend tradition. It was not the breaking of rules that mattered, but the hearts of those involved, their sincerity, their respect for one another, and their willingness to stand up for what they believed in. Slowly, the village began to shift. The chief, moved by his wife's words and by the love his daughter and Kwame shared, softened his stance. He saw in them the same strength and love that had once sparked his own marriage to a woman of a different background. And so, the village, once resolute in its old ways, opened its heart to change. The romance that had been seen as forbidden became a symbol of new beginnings. The villagers came together to celebrate the union, dancing and singing under the starry sky. Amina and Kwame, surrounded by their family and friends, stood side by side, knowing they had changed the course of their village's future. And so, what began as a forbidden love became a story for the entire village,